Welcome to a virtual meeting of the Aiken Republican Club. I'm Jim Massey, club president, and I'm very happy to welcome you here today and present a virtual meeting of the club since we can't be here together in person. Today we have a very special guest, Aiken's own Senator Tom Young, who will give us an update. Thank you, Senator, and welcome to the Aiken Republican Club meeting.
Thank you, John, and thank you, KT, for inviting me to participate. And I want to thank all of the party supporters and the club members for their participation in our process and their interest in state and local government and national government. This is certainly an unprecedented time in our state and nation. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented unsurpassed challenges that we all have faced for the past 2.5 months, and we all face a new normal in the months ahead. I want to remind all that are watching this to socially distance and adhere to the guidelines that are recommended by both the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control and the National CDC. I am confident that by working together and with the resolve that we as South Carolinians and that we as Americans have in our spirit, our work ethic, and our faith, that we will overcome and emerge out of this stronger as a state and as a nation. There are several items that I wanted to cover with you today. First, and very importantly, is we have a primary election on June the 9th with a potential runoff on June 23rd. There are a number of elections that are being held in Aiken County. And if you want to vote by absentee ballot, the South Carolina General Assembly has changed the law so that there will be the opportunity for everyone to vote by absentee without any particular excuse during the month of June for the June 9th primary and the June 23rd runoff if necessary. If you are interested in doing so, you can request an absentee ballot by going to the scvotes.org website, or you can call the local elections office at 803-642-2028 to request an absentee ballot by mail. You can also go to the local office and vote by absentee between the hours of 9 to 5, and that will be Monday through Friday this week and next week, as well as the Saturday before the election. I also want to mention to you that DHEC testing in South Carolina has reached a record level for May. It tested more than 110,000 people in South Carolina in the month of May. There are some important conditions that you need to be aware of that the DHEC has identified that the people that have these particular conditions are at a higher risk for getting COVID-19, or probably more importantly, if they get COVID-19, they are at a higher risk of having a more difficult time of overcoming it. Those conditions would include a cardiovascular condition, asthma, a pre-existing lung condition, if you smoke currently or if you've previously smoked, if you have congestive heart failure, if you are currently getting any type of treatment for cancer, which would involve chemotherapy. Also, if you're a diabetic, if you have chronic liver disease, if you have a chronic kidney disease, those are conditions, or lupus, those are conditions for which you need to be very attentive to what you're doing to avoid exposing yourself to COVID-19. I also want to mention on the front with respect to the General Assembly and the state budget, we have 2 state budgets that we have to pass this year. They are the fiscal year 2021 budget, which we will have to pass in September of this year. The General Assembly is expected to return to session for 2 weeks in September to take up a budget. We currently are going to operate under what's called a continuing resolution, which means that state government will continue to operate at the current funding levels beyond July 1st until another budget is adopted. In the meantime, you may have read in the newspaper and seen on the news that the General Assembly will return to session sometime in June with a date to be determined, where we will debate and adopt the COVID-19 budget. The COVID-19 budget involves, I think it's about $2 billion, not quite $2 billion, that the General Assembly has to appropriate for reasons that are related to the state and local government's efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor McMaster has given us guidance on that front, and he is sharing that and getting guidance also from the Accelerate South Carolina committee that he created. And they will be making announcements on that front. They've already made some. They'll make some more later this week, I'm told. I think Accelerate South Carolina meets tomorrow. Speaking of Accelerate South Carolina, they do meet tomorrow, as I understand it. There'll be some additional announcements forthcoming, including how larger entertainment venues would be allowed to open in the coming weeks, hopefully in the coming days. And I want to do a shout out for my predecessor in Senate District 24, Senator Greg Ryberg. He is our local designee appointed by Governor McMaster to serve on the Accelerate South Carolina committee. And he's been doing that since sometime in April. And we want to thank him for his service in that regard. Another thing I want to cover with you that may be of interest to you is the number of unemployment claims in our state. We've seen record unemployment in South Carolina during the pandemic, as we've seen that also nationally. That should be of no surprise to anyone. During the week ending May 16th of this month, the number of claims were down, I believe, by over 3,000. There were still over almost 30,000 claims filed for that particular week. And I think, as I recall, we've seen over 500,000 unemployment claims filed in South Carolina since early March. Some other things I want to share with those out in the district and in the club. The 2020 census is very important, that if you have not filled out your information for the 2020 census, that you do that. If you're not sure if you filled it out, or if you're not sure if you can find the form that may have been mailed to you, you can go to 2020census.gov, and there's a way that you can download the information, I think, there that you need to fill out the census information. It's very important that you do so that we will be able to have an adequate count of the number of people that live in our community. And that's important. Some people may say, well, why is that important? Well, one thing is that every 10 years after the census, the districts are reapportioned. And what that means is that districts at the state and the congressional level, as well as the local levels, are reapportioned based on population. So we want to make sure that all the people that live in Aiken County are adequately counted when we go through the redistricting process next year in 2021. If you do not receive my email update that I send out on a regular basis, and you would like to receive it, please email me at tom@senatortomyoung.com. I'll be glad to add you to my list. You may have heard about the Rally in the Alley, which was a Republican club at an Aiken County Republican Party event scheduled for this Saturday. It's my understanding it will still occur between the hours of 10 and noon Saturday morning, but it will take place on Facebook Live and not be an in-person event in the alley. The last two things I want to cover is that there's a lot of us in our area who have loved ones who are graduating from high school or from college. And I want to congratulate those individuals. I want to thank the teachers in our area and across the state who have continued to work during the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. And I also want to publicly thank the nurses and the doctors and the first responders and all the other people, the store clerks and those that are stocking the shelves in the grocery stores, and the guys that are and women that are driving the trucks and bringing the stuff to us on the supply chain. All those that are doing things that we, in the past, maybe didn't take time to think about it and appreciate what they've been doing. We want to publicly thank all those people. And last thing I want to do is just remind the folks in the district and in the club to follow the recommendations that have been made from the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control and National CDC, so that we can all do our part to protect both ourselves, our loved ones, and also the many others who are around us on a daily basis. Thank you again to John and to KT for asking me to participate in this. I want to wish everyone all the best. Can't wait to see you when we have an in-person club meeting, have some presentations to make to some folks in Aiken County. Hopefully we can do it at a club event soon. And thank you again for your interest in our Aiken County Republican Party and in our local government.
Well, thank you so much, Senator Young. That was a very valuable update, and we really appreciate, on behalf of all the club members and our guests who attend, for you taking the time, and also for all your service here to all of us in Aiken and the surrounding areas. We hope that we'll be able to get together soon, as Senator Young said. As soon as the conditions are safe for us to do that, we will continue to do it. We've been sending out weekly updates with the menus from Newberry Hall, our host for our luncheon meetings. They're a small local business run by a husband and wife team, and they are doing to-go meals. And so it's been our pleasure to support them by sending out the menus, and we appreciate all the club members that have helped them through this difficult time as they try to keep their staff employed. All of you stay safe. We look forward to more of these virtual meetings. This is an important year for all of us. Every year is important, but this one especially, coming up with the presidential election. And as Senator Young said, please get out and vote in the primary. It's important that we get great candidates to run in the November general election. We hope to see all of you soon.